Alright, Deadheads, listen, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so just hang in there with me. Let's talk Fear the Walking Dead, Episode 3, The Dog. The fucking dog. Right off the bat, I knew where they went wrong with that. And yeah, I am a little annoyed they went with a dog, but where they went wrong with that is the fact that they teased that trailer and then they had the title for dog, you know, kind of right there. So everyone watching that was like, oh, bada bing, bada boom. And there was about a dozen people who were pretty actually rude, being like, what the hell's wrong with you YouTube reviewers? You don't know that dog means dog from episode 1? No, because that makes absolutely no sense. What in the hell does a lecture from episode 1 have anything to do with the title of episode 3? That's how I was thinking about it, so that's why I didn't say it was a lecture. Now, our fears came true. It was a dog, and it was kind of like artificial tension. You know what I mean? It didn't go anywhere. I did like where they went with the dog afterwards. I did like the story in this episode a lot. However, I did notice something that is kind of odd. A lot more people liked this episode, and I liked it a little bit less than I thought I would, to be honest with you. Mainly because there was one scene with Madison that put a sour taste in my mouth for the rest of the episode. Before we get to that, listen guys, for those who do know and are aware of this, I apologize for wasting 30 seconds of your time. But for those who just keep forgetting or don't remember or don't know at all, maybe you're new to the show or to the series, these people do not know what a zombie is. Zombies do not exist in their universe. They don't have zombie movies. They don't have zombie shows. I mean, they don't know what they are. So when they don't even know they're dead. Perfect example. Because a lot of people are like, that's a zombie. Shoot him in the face. You're an idiot. What the hell's wrong with you? You should die. You know, give us our original characters back. Whoop-de-whoop. That's not the case because remember when Nick was like, she's dead. Like, bitch is dead. Yeah, Matt's dead. They're dead, but they're trying to bite us and eat us. Like, they're walking, but they're dead. Though that was a mind blow to these people. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think a lot of people are grasping the horror in that realization. When they're standing there in that backyard and Nick is like, yo, that bitch is dead. 100% dead. This is what it does. You die and you get up and walk around and eat people. The reality of that being their truth, it's just like mind blown. That's something that they wouldn't automatically be like, yeah, you're right, you know? Silly me. Let's go brain the bitch. These people have to process this. So that's all I'm going to say, but yeah, keep that in mind. This is mind-blowing reality these people are living or experiencing right now. But anyway, so back to this episode and what turned me off. I'll talk about this right off the bat. The shit with Maddie, looking out, seeing her neighbor, and she has this look on her face that at first I was like, ooh, this bitch enjoys this. I mean, it just, for me, it didn't translate. You know what I mean? And that doesn't always happen with me. For me, I'm always like, oh, boom, I got this. I can like sense what these characters are feeling. But for some reason, that stuff with Maddie just did not translate well with me at all. And especially when she's telling Travis's ex-wife, like, oh, don't let him do it. You gotta be the one to put me down because it's gonna break him. I don't know. To me, that seemed like she was trying to get at the other chick. And I know a lot of people were like, oh yeah, they were finally, you know, clicking in that moment. To me, I didn't get that. I got this chick was just doing a low blow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you were with him first. You have a kid with him, but if I die, that'll break him. You know, you guys ain't shit to him. That's how it translated to me. And that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, is there some history I don't know about with these two, you know? I hope we get a little more to this. So it seems like there's a little more. We did get a little bit from when they were playing Monopoly that makes it seem like their dad left and they were waiting for him to come home and he died, if I heard that correctly. And it does look like the dad didn't just up and leave the family. It does look like the dad did die, and it was a happy family, you know, when he was with them. At least that's the vibe I got. So if you got something different, leave that in the comments down below. And another thing too, when I told you guys, remember the plane in episode 2 or whatever, and it was episode 2, and it was like briefly whatever, and Nick looked up at it, and a lot of people were like, hey, that's the plane, and I told a couple people, I don't think that is the plane. They didn't, you know, focus on it the right way for it. And I know a couple people are like, What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, listen, sure enough, this episode, that is what I mean. They clearly focused on that plane. Not only did, Nick look up, but they showed the plane, as if it was going to crash, and they zoomed in a little. There was focus on that plane. So yes, I don't think that's a crazy, theory. I think that's logical to assume that airplane is the airplane that's going to tie in to the webisode that will introduce us to a new cast member for season 2, which is pretty awesome to think that shit is going down. Nick is looking at that plane, and one person, or maybe 2 or 3, we don't know yet for sure, are going to be, in his life and his family's life in season 2, trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. I think that's awesome. I love that. Now, they did do the big bang, we'll call it, shooting the walker in the face. I think that was absolutely one of the best parts. And if you connect this with episode 2, where they didn't show the gore with Artie, now when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it makes more sense. If you hold back on the gore with Artie, you know what I mean? And you're not already preparing the audience for some bloody reveals when the shit hits the fan. Now when the guy gets shot in the face, that was gold, I thought. He gets blasted in the face, then he slowly turns to reveal a horrific, deformed gunshot wound to the face. I thought that was epic. Even if that wasn't their plan, it worked out perfectly. And what I mean by that is holding off on the gore for Artie. It worked out wonderfully in this reveal because we're not prepared for it. For me, I was actually kind of getting afraid they were going to hold back on some of that blood and gore. Maybe make this more family-orientated or whatever the hell they're talking about. Did I even say that word right? Man, I don't feel good today. Anyhow, so then we get the second shot to the face, and it was gore fest. I love it how they're not taking that out of there. Another issue that I don't know just yet if it's sitting well with me is where the rest of the season's going to go. Now, I'm going to cover this more in the prediction video, but I'll just let you know right now. I get the strong feeling that this is it. We're going to stay in their home or in their neighborhood for the next 3 episodes. And the reason why I say I don't know if I want that is because I don't know if I care to watch a family dealing with military idiots, you know what I mean, in a neighborhood. They quarantined or some shit like that. I just don't know if that's a story that I care for. Now, they can do it and do it well. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'll tell you right now, I love giving you guys a realistic expectation of what's to come. Because a lot of us get hyped up from AMC or the producers or the actors. And that's kind of counterproductive because they hype us up so much that they don't live up to that expectation sometimes, and we just bottom out. We're just like, oh, that was whatever. I was thinking of something insane, and that was just crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was just stupid. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyhow, I want to give you guys realistic expectation. I really think that we're going to be staying in their neighborhood and in their house, that area, for the next 3 episodes. I hope we don't, but at least the next 2, most likely definite, that's where we're staying. Now, I know in episode 2 I talked about Alicia being a bitch and having attitude, and I still stand by that 100%. However, I don't think the criticism for episode 3 is actually warranted. I don't think people should be criticizing her decision to go back for the bullets. I mean, there was honor in that. I give her respect for that. She knew her family was in trouble. She knew she needed to get those bullets, or someone had to. She was like right there, so she made an impulse decision. And I don't blame her for that. They made it through that maze, the shining maze, easy. Then they got back easy. You know what I mean? What makes you think that it's not going to be easy again? So she goes. And she just happens to run into a really creepy walker. You know? I don't blame her for that. However, she did kind of kick into bitch mode again when Chris went to go help. 2 things here. 1, yeah, she clocked him for helping. Then again, 2, he was like holding on to her. Why was he still holding on to her? So I think they're personally both at fault. Dude, you got a little touchy-feely gropey. Let go. And 2, bitch, chill. He was helping. So I'm going to strike them both on that. As far as that, him as a character, yeah, he's not that likable, but he was quick to run. You know what I mean? He is trying to learn the weapons, and I know Travis is like, ooh, I don't like guns. We know that's going to change, and I think they throw these in there with these characters now, where sometimes it's getting a little too predictable. Like, oh, look at a guy who doesn't like guns. He's now in a zombie apocalypse. Let's watch him transform. And then you got Salazar. I do like how he is realistic to someone who is a mom and pop shop owner, in downtown or wherever it is, even close to a bad neighborhood. And I'm just saying this if it was, because he got that kind of vibe to him. That is realistic to how he would be. No bullshit, no nonsense. And I do enjoy that with his character. He's becoming one of my favorites. Danny Salazar, I believe that's his name, and Nick. They are high on the list for being favorites in this cast so far. For some reason, and I stood by Kim Dickens 100% for the first episode, second episode. However, the two things with that conversation she had with Travis's ex, Liza, and then that stunt with the hammer, gonna put down Susan was her name, I think, and it just felt stale. I don't know what it was. Yeah, for me, it felt stale. I will be honest. The scene with the hammer felt stale, and the scene with her and Liza it didn't translate well for me. It translated it into something that I don't even know if they meant. To me, it was like she's being a bitch. You know what I mean? But listen, guys, sometimes we absorb this totally wrong. So go ahead and help me out. If you absorbed it a different way, if you've seen it in a different light, go ahead and let me know what those scenes were about in your opinion, in your eyes, and go ahead and put those down in the comment box and let me know what you thought about this episode. And stay tuned, because tomorrow I'm going to have predictions for episode 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. Alright, Deadheads, thoughts, opinions, and predictions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.